The sum of three numbers is 18. Let's just read through it first, and then we'll go back and slow it down and put equations on this. The first is 8 times the sum of the second and third. The third is 3 times the first. Find the numbers. Okay, so we're looking for three numbers.
Well, the three numbers is 18. They're all equal to 18. So
no, they're not. Oh, they're. Hold on. Oh, wait. Shh.
All the three equations are equal to 18.
The three numbers. Careful how you phrase that. The three numbers are not equal to 18. The three numbers sum to 18. What does that mean?
Like added together.
They add together to be 18. But we need to back up a second because we haven't defined the variables. So what are our numbers going to be? Like what letters do you want to use?
And
I would say X, Y, and Z. There's three numbers, so I got to pick three variables. Now I can start thinking about which is which, or what, how to make sense of this. X is the first number, Y is the second number, and Z is the third number. Okay, now back to the top. The sum of the three numbers is 18. So what's an equation that would mean that the sum of the numbers is 18? Yeah. All right, the first is 8 times the sum of the second and the third. Well, the first is X. Is means equals 8 times, sum means add, sum of second and third. So X equals 8 times Y plus Z. And the third number is 3 times the first. So how can I translate that last, I guess it's not the last. The third number is 3 times the first. Mia, how do I write that as an equation?
Y equals 3 times 8 times Y plus Z.
Wait, just this last statement. The third number, which is the third number?
Oh, the following Z.
Okay. Is 3 times the first. So how do I translate that to an equation?
3 times X.
So equals 3 times X. Okay, that's not quite matrix ready yet. So let's change these around. The first one looks good. But I want all my variables on one side. That way I can make this into a matrix equation. So I think I would distribute the 8 and subtract them over. I'm going to do 2 steps at once here. So X minus 8Y minus 8Z. What would that equal? How did I get them to the other side? So 0. And then this one, I guess I could subtract the Z over or subtract the 3X over. It doesn't really matter. It would matter over here. They would look different. Which one would you want to do? Move the Z or move the X? It's just a preference thing. So if we move the Z over, we have 3X minus Z. What would that equal? 0. The matrix equation then would be 1, 1, 1, 1, negative 8, negative 8, 3, 0, negative 1. And then we could go to the calculator and see what we got. So today is all about translating English to math. And if you can read and if you know math, it should go fairly quickly. That's a high bar, I guess. I know. Number 2, Greg has $20,000 to invest in 3 types of stocks. He expects the annual returns on, here they're giving us the variables we should use, stock X, stock Y, and stock Z, to be 12%, 10%, and 6%, respectively. You know what respectively means there? Like in order. So X is 12%, Y is 10%, Z is 6%. You want the combined investment in stock Y and Z to be 3 times the amount invested in stock X. How much should Greg invest in each type of stock to obtain an average return of 9%? Okay, so what should my variables be? X, Y, and Z. And those represent how much money is in each stock. Money in, I'll just say X, the money in Y, and the money in Z. Okay, he's got $20,000 to invest. So, what can I do with this one's not as explicit as the last one. This one you have to do a little thinking. So, what can I do with that $20,000? He's got $20,000 to invest. That's your total. That's good. So how is that related to X and Y and Z? It's the sum. They add up. Careful, don't say all of them are equal. That would mean all of them are $20,000. No, they add up to $20,000. So X plus Y plus Z equals $20,000. All right, the next sentence isn't really an equation. It's just their annual returns. So that's what I'll multiply by whenever I need to come up with the money here. You want the combined investment in Y and Z to be 3 times the amount in X. So, Layla, can you turn that sentence into a math equation? Yeah. You want the combined investment in Y and Z. Okay, so I like the combined is the plus. To be, so that means like is, like equals. What are we doing with 3? 3 times what? 3 times X. So you want Y plus Z to be 3 times X. And then the last one is probably the hardest one. How much should Greg invest in each type of stock to obtain an average return of 9%? So he wants 9% of his total money. Or he wants to make 9% on the total. So 0.09 times 20,000, whatever that is. That would be him making 9% on the total. How much is he going to make on X? What's his X percentage going to be? 12%, so 0.12x. What's his Y percentage going to be? 0.10y or 0.1y, either way. And his Z percentage? 0.06. So the 3 amounts add up to $20,000. Y plus Z is 3 times whatever X is. And then 12% of X, 10% of Y, 6% of Z is going to make 9% of the total.
I don't understand. Where did you get that? Like the point?
Where did I get what?
It's like 12. The middle part.
Because that's 12% of X.
But why is it not like at the end? Like why is it specified at the start?
I mean, why did they write it there?
Yeah.
I mean, they could have written it first, middle, last. They could have written it anywhere.
Why couldn't they write it?
Like, that's the point of word problems, is like, we don't just hand you a formula. It's like you got to read a situation and come up with the math.
Okay.
This is where you use math in the real world, not, solve an equation. It's like, no, here's a problem you need to solve. What math does it take to solve the problem? That's where you use math. Okay, so let's see if we can turn this into an, you think we can go straight to a matrix equation?
No, because you have to.
Yeah, Yeah, let's move the x. So negative 3x plus y plus z. What's that equal if I move the x over? 0. I'm not going to rewrite the other ones. They're ready to go. So 1, 1, 1. Negative 3, 1, 1. 0.12, 0.1, and 0.06. X, Y, Z. Didn't plan ahead real well here. 20,000, 0, and then 0.09 times 20,000. 2 times 9 is 18, so I know it's 18. Let's see, 10% would be 2,000, so it's a little less than that, so 1,800. I mean, you'd have a calculator, so you could do 0.09 times 2,000. You can also, I don't have one up here with me, but in the calculator, in the matrix, you could actually type in 0.09 times 20,000 when you're on the matrix screen, and it would do the math and put in 1,800. Let's look at, what did I say, number 5. Oops. I have to check the staple there, but that one's 25 cents. David paid $9.50 for some 15, 25, and 45 cent stamps. He bought 38 stamps in all. The number of 25 cent stamps was 8 more than twice the number of 45 cent stamps. How many stamps of each type did David buy? So there's our question. So 3 variables. I think we just use X, Y, and Z because it doesn't look like there's anything better to use. But X, Y, and Z are going to represent how many stamps? So let's let X be the number of, I think we'll just go in order, 15 cent stamps. Y will be the number of 25 cent stamps. And Z can be the number of 45 cent stamps. All right, why don't you see if you can write 3 equations based on that information. So X plus Y plus Z is 38. That's the number of stamps. Karina, can you write another equation?
0.15x plus 0.25y plus 0.45z equals 950.
Nice. That's the one I was worried about. That's the money equation. Like literally the money equation, not like that's a cool equation. Because we'll spend X times 15 and Y times 25 and Z times 45, and that's the total amount of money we spent, which was $9.50. And now there's one more to go. As soon as I can find someone who's here. Kinley's here. Kinley, what about a third equation?
Y equals 2z equals 8.
The number of, the number of 25 cent stamps equals 2z plus 8. Yeah, that one was wrong on my key, so good job. The first 2 are like matrix ready, they're good to go, but I need to rearrange this last one. Maybe I'll rearrange it here, that way I'll have room to put my matrix here. Mateo, could you rearrange that last equation so that Y and Z are on the same side, so that it's matrix ready?
Yeah. Y negative 2 equals 8.
Yep. Y minus 2Z equals 8. So then I'm ready to put them in my matrix. 1, 1, 1, 0.15, 0.25, 0.45. Oh, be careful on this one because we're missing a variable. So 0 goes somewhere. Just make sure you get the 0 in the right spot. Where's the 0 going to go?
X.
The first one, the X one. Oh, I have not done this, But some people label their columns if you're worried about keeping things straight. Most of the time we give them to you in order, so it doesn't really matter. But if that helps to label them, to make sure you got the X's and the Y's and the Z's lined up.
Does it matter what row you put them in?
Oh, that's if I heard your question right, it's a good one. What was the question?
Does it matter what row you put them in?
It does not matter what row you put them in. Yeah, because when I worked this problem, I did the money question last. I thought the first two were easier, and then I did the money question. So my row 2 and 3 were switched. And so that looks like a different problem, but you're still going to end up with the same answer. So the order of the rows doesn't matter, which makes sense. It shouldn't matter, right? Like what order you write the equations down shouldn't matter. So yeah, you can write the order in any order you like, as long as you also obviously get the right-hand side. Okay, so what I think I want to do today is just get started on the quiz. That way, as soon as you're done with the quiz and confident, you can turn that in and then grab a calculator and start setting these up. Well, I guess you could set them up without a calculator, but